Hey guys, Lord Sora here. We're back with another Season 2 related content, and this time we're looking into our beloved Season 1 build Shadow Wave and how it's going to carry over the Season 2. Since we released this build, it took the PvP and even PvE by storm and really changed the meta for us. Before this build, it was impossible to compete for us with no mobs, but after this build, it really pushed our ceiling higher, where we were somewhat more viable in duels, and we were quite the S tier in open world PvP. I have continuously looked for ways to improve this build, and eventually I was able to get it to a place where at times it could one-shot even some of the best barbs in the game. I think the highest tick I was able to see was almost 60k, which is a crazy amount of damage to do on a player in a PvP environment. The build dished out so much damage that the moment someone will dip their toes in, they will melt, especially if it was a high Fist of Fate proc. If you haven't seen the previous build videos regarding Shadow Wave build, those links will be in the description. An updated Season 2 build will be coming out shortly. Before we ramble on further, let's see how Season 2 changes will impact this build. The biggest change I'm most excited about going into Season 2 is the new glyph Desecration. It says for every 5 willpower purchased within range, your desecrated ground deals almost 60% additive increased damage. When I first saw this desecrated ground, my eyes almost popped out because our main damage, our most beloved skill Shadow Wave, is creating desecrated ground. Considering we can get like 60 willpower within the range, this is like 720% additive damage to our Shadow Wave. In addition to the new glyph, some of our strongest glyph choices, Darkness and Scourge, will scale off of Intelligence, as well as the Witherboard Legendary, which is also another source of great damage for us. Currently I was able to get up to almost 1000 intelligence in Season 1, and considering with this change maybe now we can easily push close to 1.2k, we should also increase our damage significantly. There's also a change on the Shadow Blight passive. Instead of flat 22% damage, now we're actually getting another 100% X damage multiplier to only our shadow damage over time effects. This might be a massive buff or might not make any significant difference. We will just need to test it when Season 2 goes live. Another good change that is direct buff to Shadow Wave is one of our must-have aspects, Tidal aspect, just got a buff. The damage reduction reduced to 40% from 50%. In addition to these changes, we're also getting some really cool uniques, especially the new unique ring, Corroded Signet, might be super strong for this build. It simply states that our damage over time effects will have very high chance, 50% to erupt and deal 5 or 6 times of the damage of the same type. With high lucky hit chance, this might cause insane amount of chain reaction type of damage back to back, proccing and dealing huge amount of dot damage. We do have pretty high chance of lucky hit on our Blight and Corpse Explosion. Blood Wave not so much, but this can even proc off of our Shadow Wave, and that just sounds nutty damage if it procs with the Shadow Wave. Another contribution of this unique will be the damaged instances. I'm still not sure how this unique will interact, but if I understand the tooltip correctly, this will create 6 different instances, which can mean more damaged instances per second and more lucky hit chances, which can help us create even more corpses, proccing Hewed Flesh passive. On top of this, this can ensure even faster miss cooldown reduction. Overall, super excited to test out this ring, which might significantly improve the Shadow Wave build. Another new unique is the new boots. Flicker Step. This one might also reduce the cooldown of Shadow Wave. However, I'm still not sure if I will take this one over Ghostwalker's boots, since we will have more unstoppable uptime in Season 2. Being faster sounds really strong. Another unique I'm excited to check out is the Tybalt's Will, which simply gives us another damage multiplier buff literally after we evade, which new vampiric power we will use make us unstoppable after we evade or simply after we missed. This unique will give us another source of damage multiplier. This unique might be a really good addition to the build as well. Since we covered some of the major changes and new uniques, let's talk about the new vampiric powers and which ones I plan on testing that might significantly improve our Shadow Wave build. First one, Anticipation. This one will reduce our Shadow Wave cooldown 20% and it will increase its damage by 12%. Really a no-brainer here. I think every Shadow Wave build will want to use this vampiric power. Another no-brainer, which I believe literally everyone will run in PvP, is Metamorphosis, which will provide insane amount of uptime, turning us into a cloud of bats, making us unstoppable for 4 seconds. Another key point to pay attention here that will make sense here in a second is the second part. Enemies along our path will be inflicted by Vampiric Curse, and this will be where we get our vulnerable proc. Which leads to the next vampiric power I plan on running is the Prey on the Weak. Enemies affected by Vampiric Curse, which we just did by running over them using Metamorphosis, and this will be our main source of vulnerability. Additionally, this will provide another 16% damage increase on vulnerable enemies. Since this will cover vulnerability for us, I really may not run Corpse Tendrils in Season 2, especially considering how often enemies will be unstoppable and we won't have auto cast anymore, so Tendrils might really become very redundant. I plan on running Bone Prison in place of Tendrils to land some vulnerability, Shadow Wave combos at the same time, and just have another way to possibly keep people stuck in our AoE dots. By the way, if you have missed, there will be no more lucky hit procs from Bone Prison. Blizzard finally fixed that bug and we can no longer proc lucky hits using Bone Prison, so that will be something we will need to adjust. Overall, Season 2 is looking very exciting and I love playing Shadow Wave build so much. I only want it to become stronger so I can keep playing this build. We still don't know how resistant changes and vulnerable to changes will affect this build, but I'm excited for its potential going into Season 2. A lot more Season 2 Necromancer content will be coming your way, and I plan on leveling mostly live on stream as much as I can. So if you have any questions, comment below, like and subscribe, drop a follow to my Twitch and stay in touch for more content. In the meantime, if you would like to join my Discord server, that link is also in the description. Hopefully this was helpful. Lord Sora here. I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.